In this lecture, we will discuss about the concepts of frequency response and transfer function. So, frequency response. So, till now we have seen only the time response of any circuit, that is, how a voltage or current in a circuit varies with respect to time. Only the time parameter was considered. Now we'll discuss about the frequency response. Okay, so in our sinusoidal circuit analysis, we have learned how to find voltages and currents in a circuit with a constant frequency source. So we have learned how to find voltages and currents in a circuit with a constant frequency source. So if we consider a AC source, that source will be having a particular frequency. For example, we have discussed for some numerical problems where the value of omega was mentioned, right? So omega is the term which relates to the frequency. Okay, so the value of omega is the frequency. So if suppose in a problem omega is mentioned as 4 radians per second, then the value of frequency is 4 radians per second, and the source operates at that particular frequency. It does not change. So that's what we call it as a constant frequency source. Okay, so till now we have discussed only the constant frequency source, that is omega. It does not vary, it is fixed at a particular value. Now if we let the amplitude of the sinusoidal source remain constant and vary the frequency, we obtain the circuit's frequency response. So how we will be obtaining frequency responses? We are going to fix the amplitude of the source and we are going to vary the frequency of the source. That is, let's say we have a sinusoidal voltage of 5 volt. Okay, so we are going to fix that amplitude of 5 volt, maximum amplitude as 5 volt, and we are going to vary only the frequency, that is the omega parameter. So the frequency response may be regarded as a complete description of the sinusoidal steady state behavior of a circuit as a function of frequency. So frequency response, it is actually regarded as a complete description of the circuit as a function of frequency. Okay, so frequency response of a circuit is the variation in its behavior with change in signal frequency. With change in signal frequency. So the sinusoidal steady state frequency responses of circuits are of significance in many applications, especially in communications and control systems. A specific application is in electric filters that block out or eliminate signals with unwanted frequencies and pass signals of the desired frequencies. Filters are used in radio, TV and telephone systems to separate one broadcast frequency from another. So a very common example is the radio systems available. We have numerous FMs like Hello FM, Radio FM, etc. They operate at a particular frequency. So this frequency response is mainly used in applications like electric filters. Okay, so those filters, what it will do is it will filter the signal which is passed at a particular frequency and eliminate the signals at the other frequencies. In radio, we actually tune in to a particular frequency. So this is an example for the application of frequency response. So next terminology is transfer function. The transfer function, h of omega is also called the network function, is a useful analytical tool for finding the frequency response of a circuit. In fact, the frequency response of a circuit is the plot of the circuit's transfer function h of omega versus omega. with omega varying from 0 to infinity. Now, what is transfer function is? Transfer function, it is also called as network function. Now, this transfer function is a tool for analyzing the frequency response of a circuit. Okay, so normally in frequency response, the plot, it will actually contain h of omega versus omega. That is, your x-axis is frequency and y-axis is the transfer function or your system function. So we are going to find out how change in frequency affects this system. Okay, so this will be the plot for this is frequency. So frequency, here it is mentioned as omega, right, versus omega. So x-axis is frequency and y-axis is the system transfer function h of omega. So this will be the frequency response plot. So we are going to vary the frequency from 0 to infinity and notice what is the change in the system. This is the frequency response. Now, transfer function is the frequency dependent ratio of a forced function to a forcing function or of an output to an input or of an output to an input. The transfer function, so what it means, it is a frequency dependent ratio of a forced function to a forcing function, or you can say that it is the ratio of an output to input. Now let us consider this linear network. You can see that there is a linear network represented by h of omega. Linear network is nothing but an electrical circuit consisting of some parameters like passive elements like resistors, inductors, capacitors, which forms a circuit. So this linear network is nothing but an electrical circuit. So to an electrical circuit we will always have an input which is nothing but the source, right? Source, it can be a source voltage or source current or a current, it can be a voltage source or a current source. So the input, it actually denotes the source given to the electrical circuit. Okay, and the output, it denotes the voltage or current in some part of the circuit. Let's say what is the voltage across this particular inductor, we are going to measure that, then that becomes the output of the circuit. Okay, so here the electrical circuit is represented by h of omega. Now input is represented by x of omega. You should not confuse this x with the reactance. Okay, it is not reactance. For representation we have used x and y. So here x and y denotes the input and output. So input, it can be the source, and output, it can be output at any part of the circuit terminal. Now the transfer function h of omega of a circuit is the frequency dependent ratio of phasor output y of omega, that is an element voltage or current, to the phasor input x of omega, source voltage or current. So transfer function is nothing but ratio of output by input. So in an electrical circuit, output will be some current or voltage in some current or voltage across any particular element. Okay, so that's why it is given as an element voltage or current. Okay, and in electrical circuit, input will be source voltage or source current. So that's why the input is represented as source voltage or current, assuming zero initial conditions. This is a very important point. So transfer function is actually defined as the ratio of output by input at zero initial conditions. Okay, so this is the definition of transfer function. So since input and output can be either voltage or current at any place in the circuit, there are four possible transfer functions. There are four possible transfer functions. So what are those transfer functions? These are the transfer functions. So h of omega, it can be voltage gain. so which is nothing but the ratio of output voltage by input voltage. So V naught of omega is output voltage and Vi of omega is input voltage. So this O and I indicates the input and output. And then this can be another transfer function, which is current gain, which is the ratio of output current to input current. Or we can get another transfer function which can be a function of voltage and current, that is impedance, transfer impedance. So impedance Z is equal to P by I, we know that. So V is output voltage by input current. Okay, so the next one is transfer admittance. So admittance is the ratio of current divided by voltage. So current, so here transfer function, it is output by input, so it is output current by input voltage. So these are the possible transfer functions in any electrical circuit. So transfer function, it can represent a voltage gain or a current gain or an impedance or an admittance. Now this H of omega is again a complex quantity, right? We are talking about varying frequency circuit. So varying frequency, it obviously denotes the AC circuits. So AC circuits, we have two forms of representation. So it is a complex quantity. So H of omega, it has a magnitude as well as phase. So H of omega can be represented as like this, phasor representation. H of omega angle phi. So this is how we represent a transfer function. Now to obtain the transfer function which was mentioned here, first we have to obtain the frequency domain equivalent of the circuit, replacing resistor, inductor, capacitor with their impedances R, j omega L, 1 by j omega C. We then use any circuit techniques to obtain the appropriate quantity in equation, the previous equation mentioned. We can obtain the frequency response of the circuit by plotting the magnitude and phase of the transfer function as the frequency varies. So what they have given is, here if any circuit is given, we have to first convert the circuit into a frequency domain equivalent, then obtain any of this transfer function, that is either find out what is the voltage gain or a current gain or impedance or admittance. Once this is found out, we will be having a transfer function. Now plot the transfer function with respect to frequency. So by varying frequency, now what is the phase and what is the magnitude, that is what we are going to find out. Phase is phi and magnitude is H. This is what we are going to find out. This is how we will be finding the frequency response. Now the transfer function H of omega, it can also be expressed in terms of numerator polynomial n of omega and denominator polynomial d of omega. So here H of omega can also be represented as numerator by denominator as a function of frequency. So here n, that is numerator and denominator, it does not directly denote the input and output functions, because if the input and output terms were same, then they might get cancelled. So remaining terms will be considered as numerator and denominator. So it does not directly denote the values of input and output. Okay, so we are just saying H of omega can be a ratio of numerator by denominator. Okay, now the roots of the numerator, that is this will be some kind of a polynomial. So the roots of this numerator are called zeros of H of omega, and they are represented as Z1, Z2, etc. Similarly, the roots of the denominator, this one equated to 0, you will get the roots. Those roots are called as poles and is represented by P1, P2, etc. So in a transfer function, the numerator roots are called as zeros and the denominator roots are called as poles. So a 0 is a root of the numerator polynomial, is a value that results in a zero value of a function. So when the roots it means that when the roots the value that results in the zero value of the function, when the roots become 0, your h of omega tends to become 0. Similarly, if pole is as a root of the denominator polynomial is a value for which the function is infinite. So actually how we find roots and poles is zeros and poles is finding zeros and poles is this numerator equated to 0, you will find the roots. If you substitute that zeros in the numerator polynomial, what happens to h of omega? It becomes 0, right? And again similarly, denominator polynomial equated to 0 will give you the roots of that polynomial. So the roots of the denominator are the poles. Okay, now substitute the value of poles. What happens? Denominator tends to become 0. If denominator is 0, then h of omega becomes infinity. So is a value for which the function is infinite. That is what is given here. So the roots of the numerator polynomial are called as zeros and the roots of the denominator polynomial are called as poles. So in a transfer function, numerator polynomial contains roots and the denominator contains zeros and the denominator polynomial contains poles.